Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Satyamayi Parame Satyamayi Parame Satyam Jnanam Satyam Jnanam Jyoti Aravinda Jyoti Aravinda Jyoti Aravinda. So in the Upanishads, there's a dialogue between a guru and a disciple, where the guru tells the disciple that for you what is day, for me is night, and for you what is night, for me is day. What he is implying is that the way an enlightened mind sees the world is very different from the way you and I see the world, which means the reality that we are seeing with our senses is quite different from the actual reality as it is. So, what is this difference? We are seeing separate forms, we are forming many judgments about the forms we see, we are building several narratives about this is like this, that is like that, and so on. But behind this world of mental seeing, there is another dimension. And this dimension is mentioned by practically all the traditions which seek the truth. In Vedanta, this dimension is called Brahma. In quantum physics, it's called the unified field. In Zen, it's called the ultimate dimension, the dimension behind the visible world. Now, from that, Zen further says that everything in manifestation is a manifestation of that ultimate dimension appearing to be what it is. But it's not actually what it appears to be, it's just an appearance. So, what is the ultimate dimension? Ultimate dimension is a field of, there's a beautiful phrase in Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, the eternal good. So the ultimate dimension is the seamless field of the eternal good. In Vedas, it's called Bhadram, the field of eternal ultimate good, which is manifesting as different appearances, which my mind says this is good, this is bad. But beyond these different manifestations, everything in life is a manifestation of the ultimate dimension, which is a field of eternal good. So now let's come to the PDF. This is a piece titled Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. So it goes, there's a compulsive urge to know myself and the world through thoughts. And that's what sometimes creates so much anxiety, right? I want to know, and I keep thinking and overthinking in order to know. However, there is a deeper and deeper reinforcement that I will never know myself, or for that matter, the world through thoughts. Can you know yourself or the world through thoughts? Actually, no. We have an illusion that if I overthink enough, I'll crack something. I'll understand it. I'll know it. But Mother has again and again told us, your thought isn't only an instrument of truth. You'll never grasp the truth with thought. This is because all that is the eternal mystery that the Mother is. Now, what Zen calls the ultimate dimension, quantum physics calls the unified field, we'll call Mother the ultimate dimension. And this is because all that is the eternal mystery that the Mother is. The mystery eternally slips the clasp of thought. Therefore, a thought suggesting I am no good, or for that matter, I am terrific, both eternally fail to touch the truth of me. Yeah, whether a thought is that I'm terrific or I'm no good, both don't tell me anything about myself. The truth of me too is emptiness. In Buddhist, it's called shunyata, empty of concepts and ideas. Therefore, no idea about myself is ever really true. So, what is shunyata in the Zen tradition? It is emptiness of concepts. Like Zen Buddhism says that everything is a manifestation of the ultimate dimension, which is the eternal mystery. And you cannot think this mystery. Whatever you think about it will be a half truth. So it's an emptiness of concepts and ideas. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo says it in a different way, where he says that 1,000 icons they have made of her, the Divine Mother, and find her in the icons they adore, but she remains herself and eternal. We don't capture her in our idea of her. She exceeds every idea we have of her. And because she exceeds every idea we have of her, what she really is this supreme emptiness. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, Vairagya, the true renunciation is about renouncing every idea the mind spews about myself, to strike out the this and that from I am this or I am that, and to be grounded in the eternal I am. So, to think I am very good or I am very bad, both are equally empty. To strike out the very good, very bad, and stay as the eternal I am. That eternal I am is shunyata, because I am exceeds all concepts. Osho says the momentary is the world, the eternal is the divine. This and that, in I am this or I am that, are momentary, and thus Jagat, the world. I am is eternal, hence divine. So this I amness is eternal. It will momentarily become I am this or I am that, but that will keep changing. But nothing can take away the reality that I am, I exist. The world of thought, the divine is true, the world of thoughts is not. Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. When the mind releases its curiosity to know, I fall into a strange, tranquilizing calm, where there is a surrender to the unknowable that strangely seems to be the only thing I know. So, when you really look at yourself deeply, you'll understand that you cannot know anything through thoughts. And therefore the term Vedanta, Ved knowing, Anta is coming to the end of knowing. Vedanta, or the real knowledge of the self, begins when we come to Vid Anta, coming to the end of knowing with our thoughts. So if you really understand that you cannot know anything with the thoughts, the effort to know drops. And that's what this piece is saying. When the mind releases its curiosity to know, when does the mind release its curiosity to know? When you understand that I'll never know anything with my mind. I fall into a strange, tranquilizing calm where there is a surrender to the unknowable. That strangely seems to be the only thing I know. So in Zen, a very popular term is the intimacy of the unknown. The unknown feels intimate although you don't know it. And in Savitri, there's another line, the intimacy of God was everywhere. And God is actually unknown. There's another line in Savitri, she knew not who God was, only knew He was. You know He is, but you don't know what it is actually beyond your concepts because it's the eternal mystery. All the other knowns float away from me as the whole world becomes this unknowable Veda. So I listen not only to the lines. See, Upanishads are written in a way to take you to this point where you say, I can't understand. If you try to read Prashna Upanishads or or even Life Divine for that matter, why do these sages write in that way? Because sometimes in Life Divine, one sentence will be 3/4 of a page or half a page. And by the time you reach the end of the sentence, your mind is, what is this? I can't understand it. And that's when the mind suddenly surrenders, I can't know. And it just reads it. And in that dropping of the need to know, something very beautiful arises. So all the other knowns float away from me as the whole world becomes this unknowable Veda, Shunya, empty. It's a Veda I will never know with my thoughts. So I listen not only to lines from the Upanishad with a surrender that breeds relief at giving up trying to understand what it cannot, but I listen to every word spoken by people in the room as if their words were part of this undecipherable Veda. This was an actual experience when I was trying to read an Upanishad. My mind went almost crazy because it talked in such abstruse terms that at one point the need to understand dropped. And that's what works like Life Divine and Upanishads are written and designed to take us to. So I listened to every word spoken by people in the room as if their words were part of this undecipherable Veda. Their words are heard, but the arrogance of interpretation is shed. They are simply received as sacred utterances that flow, and nothing in me wants to sully their holiness with clever interpretations. Thoughts flowing through this mind are as much a part of this indecipherable Veda that is beyond evaluation. So if you really understand that you can't understand the Vedas or Upanishads, you see that everything around you is a Veda. You can't really understand it with your mind, although you think you can. Even your thoughts, they are a part of this undecipherable Veda. Hence, the prison of evaluating even myself based on thought is released. Everything, including this body-mind, is part of the holiness, Bhadram. It is Bhadram, and to listen to it without interpretation is to hear its sacredness. Beautiful line. To listen to life unfolding without interpretation is to hear its sacredness. The moment you start interpreting, you sully its sacredness. Every perception is a streaming from the mysterious Veda that cannot be understood, only loved. The eternal mystery that can only be surrendered to. And this surrender becomes silence. When understanding drops, love arises. When you stop trying to understand life, you open to the field of love. Then understanding is found glistening in the warm folds of love. So love leads you to understanding. You cannot understand first and then love. Okay, so these are words by Osho. The first thing, if you meditate on darkness, that will be revealed to you is that darkness doesn't exist. It is there without any existence. It is more mysterious than light. Here he's talking about darkness of consciousness, darkness of feeling inadequate, jealous, angry. So he's saying it is more mysterious than light. It has no existence at all. Rather, on the contrary, it is just an absence of light. There is no darkness anywhere. You cannot find it. It is simply an absence. It is not in itself. It has no in itself existence. It is simply that light is not present. When your light of awareness is not present, you're in darkness, that's all. Like in this room, there can be darkness. You can't fight darkness. You can just switch on the light. Then there's no darkness. The second thing, if you contemplate, you will come to realize that because it is non-existential, you cannot do anything to it. If you try to do anything to it, you will be defeated. So what he's saying is that suppose you have a thought like, I am no good, everyone's always better than me, or what will happen to me, the future's dark, these kind of thoughts. What Osho is saying is these thoughts don't have any ontological existence. They are just mental constructs. They are conditionings from the past. They are a phantom. So if they are a phantom, you can't fight a phantom, right? Darkness cannot be defeated. How can you defeat something which is not? And when you will be defeated, you will think it was very powerful because it has defeated me. This is absurd. Darkness has no power. How can a thing have power which is not? You are not defeated by darkness and its power. You are defeated by your foolishness. In the first place, you start fighting. That was foolish. How can you fight something which is not? And remember, you have been fighting with many things which are not. They are just like darkness. This is the second thing, that nothing can be done to darkness directly. If you want to do something with darkness, you will have to do something with light, not darkness. See, if you don't switch on the light, you can fight till the end of the earth with a sword with the darkness. It will remain dark. The only way to get rid of it is to switch on the light. Put the light off and a darkness is there. But put the light on and the darkness is not there. But you cannot put on and put off darkness. You cannot bring it somewhere. You cannot push it out. If you want to do something with darkness, you have to go via light. You have to go in an indirect way. Never fight things which are not. The mind is tempted to fight, but that temptation is dangerous. You will waste your energy and life and dissipate yourself. Don't be tempted by the mind. Simply see whether a thing has a real existence or is just an absence. If it is an absence, then you don't fight with it. Then seek the thing of which it is an absence. Then you will bring the track on right. The third thing about darkness is it is involved deeply with your existence in many millions of ways. Whenever you are angry, your light within has disappeared. In fact, you are angry because the light has disappeared. The darkness has entered. You can be angry only when you are unconscious. You cannot be angry consciously. You cannot be fearful consciously. You cannot be jealous consciously. Try it. Either you will lose consciousness and anger will be there, or you will remain conscious and anger will not arise. You cannot be angry consciously. What does it mean? It means that the nature of consciousness is just like light, and the nature of anger is just like darkness. You cannot have both. If the light is there, you cannot have darkness. If you're conscious, you cannot be angry. People come to me continuously and ask how not to be angry. They are asking the wrong question. And when you ask the wrong question, it's very difficult to get the right answer. First, ask the right question. Don't ask how to dispel darkness. Don't ask how to dispel worries, anguish, anxiety. Just analyze your mind and see why they are there in the first place. So what is the right question then, if the question is not how to dispel darkness?
Bring light.
How do I bring light in? That's the correct question. How to be more conscious? If you ask how not to be angry, you will become a victim of some moralist. And if you ask the question how to be more conscious, so anger does not exist, so lust cannot exist, so greed cannot exist, then you're on the right track. Then you will become a religious seeker. Morality is a false coin, it deceives people. It is not religion at all. Religion has nothing to do with morality, because religion has nothing to do with darkness. It is a positive effort to wake you. It does not bother about your character. What you do is meaningless and you cannot change it. You may decorate it, you cannot change it. You may color it in beautiful ways, you may paint it, but you cannot change it. There is only one transformation, only one revolution, and that revolution comes not by being concerned with your character, your acts, by your doings, but concerned with your being. Being is a positive phenomenon. Once the being is alert, awake, conscious, suddenly darkness disappears. Your being is the nature of light. So this being is the ultimate dimension that you really are. In our language, the mother's presence that you really are. And sometimes when you forget who you really are, then it's easy to fall into the darkness of anger or whatever else. So Osho further says, so the real darkness is your forgetfulness, and you're forgetting who you really are. You are not the I in the thought. You are not the I who's feeling cheated or wronged or hurt. You are something behind that I. So the real darkness is your forgetfulness, and your forgetfulness can invite anger, greed, lust, hate, jealousy. They don't attack you. Remember, you send the invitation first. How do you send the invitation? By forgetting who you are. When you forget who you really are, you send an invitation to all the darknesses to come in. Your invitation is there. They cannot attack. They come as invited guests. You may have forgotten that you ever invited them. You can forget because you have forgotten yourself. You can forget anything. Forgetfulness is the real darkness, and in forgetfulness, everything happens. You are just like a drunkard, completely forgetful, completely forgotten yourself, who you are, where you're going, for what you are going. All direction is lost, and the very sense of direction is not there. That's why all basic religious teachings insist on self-remembering. Forgetfulness is the disease, then self-remembering is the antidote. Do whatsoever you do. I don't give you any discipline, and I don't say to you, do this and don't do that. My discipline is very easy. My discipline is do whatsoever you like, but do it with self-remembering. Remember yourself that you are doing it. With self-remembrance, you cannot eat meat. Impossible. It is impossible to be so violent if you remember. It is impossible to harm somebody when you remember, because when you remember yourself, suddenly you see the same light, the same flame is burning everywhere within each body, each unit. The more you know your inner nature, the more you penetrate the other. How can you kill for eating? It becomes simply impossible. Not that you practice it. If you practice it, it is false. If you practice not to be a thief, it is false. You will be a thief. You will find subtle ways. If you practice non-violence, your non-violence, there will be violence hidden behind it. Just remember that all that is experienced is illusory. Only the one who experiences is true. Pay attention to the witness. Focus on the witness and not on the experiences. When you become totally empty, only then will you be fulfilled. When you are no more, only then for the first time you will be. Such a beautiful line. When you become totally empty, only then you will be fulfilled. What empty of what? What does it mean become empty? Huh? Empty of any concept of idea. Emptiness is empty of any concept or idea. When you are no more, and if you have no concept or idea even about yourself, you are no more. Only then for the first time you will be. Okay, so let's take a pause here and assimilate what we've read. So all this is pointing to the fact that the world created by my thoughts appears to be real, but it is not real. So in Vedic parlance, the adjective that describes it is mithya. Mithya is that which appears to be true, but is not true. So if my whole world of thinking is mithya, then what is true? I don't know it, but my gurus have said it, and all the masters of the past have said it. So maybe I can make a leap of faith to believe it, even if it's not my experience as yet. And in the Gita it said, Yoya Shraddha Sa Eva Sa, whatever is your faith will become your living truth. So what is the reality beyond the good and bad of my mind? What we discussed earlier, the field of Bhadram, the field of eternal good. So I'll say, but this gives me so much pain, how can it be good? But that's coming from the premise that pain is bad. Pain is not bad. Pain, M. Scott Peck in his Road Less Traveled beautifully said that all neurotic behavior, anxiety, worry, whatever, is a bid to avoid legitimate pain. He calls it legitimate pain because it needs to be there. The ultimate dimension is manifesting different circumstances to give you legitimate pain, pain which you need in your evolutionary journey. So pain is not bad, and if I really believe pain is not bad, many things which I label as bad lose their reality of bad, isn't it? And then everything is happening in the field of Bhadram. So there's a beautiful mantra from the Upanishads. Bhadram karne bhi. Karna is your ears. Bhi is with. Shrinuyama devaha. Shrinuyama is to hear. So in the Vedas there's a term shrotrasya shrotra, the ear within the ear. The external ear hears the narrative of the world, but the ear within the ear hears things that the sages and enlightened minds hear. So the ear within the ear can receive every news of life as an unfolding of the field of Bhadram. So Bhadram karne bhi shrinuyama devaha. Bhadram pashye maksha. Bhadram is good. Pashya is to see, Aksha is eyes. So with my eyes, let me see every unfolding of life as good. So that is the, so you know, Buddhists talk about shunyata, but shunyata is completed when you juxtapose it with bhadram. How are the two related? Shunyata is telling me, don't believe your thoughts, they are empty of truth. And bhadram is telling me that beyond your thoughts, there is the ultimate dimension. There is that field of eternal good which is constantly holding you. So Sri Aurobindo beautifully sums it up when he says the mind wants to know. But finally you need to know only two things, that you have a soul within and grace above. That is the field of Bhadram. You don't need to keep thinking of what your mind is saying, what you're thinking. It's never going to tell you the truth. Okay, so let's be quiet. Let's be with this mantra. I'll say each line twice, second time with me. Bhadram karnebhi shrinuyam deva. With me. Bhadram karnebhi shrinuyam deva. Bhadram pashimaksha bhiryajatraha. Bhadram pashimaksha bhiryajatraha. All together. Bhadram karnebhi shrinuyam deva. Bhadram pashimaksha bhiryajatraha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now gently, if your hands are in a namaste, press your thumbs against your sternum bone with your eyes shut and take your awareness to a space behind where your thumbs contact the chest. The inner heart, which Sri Aurobindo says, here lies the Jagat Guru unfolding the eternal Veda from within. So going within to the feet of the Jagat Guru inside and exhaling with the soundless articulation of Bhadram. Bhadram, the field of eternal good. This one word sums up the concept of Kalyan Shraddha given to us by Sri Aurobindo. Faith in the goodness of life, faith that every seeming bad is working out a secret good, faith that everything is a manifestation of that ultimate dimension, the ultimate mystery that Mother is. You can relax your hands or keep them there. Just half a minute more. Exhale with this word Bhadram in your heart, the field of eternal good. And then think of one negative narrative you have, maybe about a person, about something in your life or otherwise. And the thoughts that make up that narrative feel very real to you, very true. But remember what the Vedas say, they are mithya. They appear to be true, but they are not. Or what the Zen Buddhists say, they are empty. They are empty of a lasting, permanent truth. As I say Bhadram, can I release belief in that narrative? This difficult person, I have so many ideas about the person and they all seem to be very true. But this person too is the eternal mystery, which I'll never be able to know through thoughts. So recognizing the thoughts as shunya, empty of truth, can I believe in Bhadram? This too is a manifestation of the eternal good. All my thoughts that are polarized between good and bad, they are the field of darkness that Osho talked about. Bhadram is the light of awareness. The moment I switch on that light, the thoughts lose reality. And with that, the grip of darkness they hold me in is gone. Maybe for the last few breaths, you can inhale saying Bhadram, holding this narrative in mind. Exhale saying Shunya, releasing the narrative. The person did this because he wants to hurt me, but that thought is Shunya. Release it. That person is always so controlling, always wants to pull me down. Did me something I can't forgive. Shunya. It seems to be true, but it's not. It's never wholly true. Three more breaths, inhaling Bhadram, exhaling Shunya. And then slowly open your eyes. So if you do this well, very often it will deconstruct a negative narrative. It will just kind of fall apart. And when it falls apart, you're free of the darkness it causes. Any questions? Anything to share? Okay. So now we come to Savitri, some beautiful passages from Savitri. This is page 536. Fear not to be nothing, that thou mayest be all. Ascend to the emptiness of the Supreme. That's the title of our talk, Emptiness of the Supreme. Ascent means ascent is to climb. Climb to the emptiness of the Supreme. What is the emptiness of the Supreme? Silence. because every thought is a concept, an idea. Emptiness is recognizing that none of this is true. That all in thee may reach its absolute. Accept to be small and human on earth, interrupting thy newborn divinity, that man may find his utter self in God. Man will never find himself in the world of his thinking, but he'll find his utter self in the God that he is. If for thy own sake only thou hast come, an immortal spirit into the mortal's world, to found thy luminous kingdom in God's dark, in the inconscience realm one shining star, one door in the ignorance opened upon light, why hadst thou any need to come at all? This is a voice telling Savitri. Thou hast come down into a struggling world to aid a blind and suffering mortal lane, blinded by the light of their thoughts. We don't see because we are only living in the thought. Thinking is one, seeing is another, and vision comes when thoughts stop. One door in ignorance opened upon light, why hast thou any need to come at all? Thou hast come down into a struggling world to aid a blind and suffering mortal race, to open to light the eyes that could not see, to bring down bliss into the heart of grief, to make thy life a bridge twixt earth and heaven. If thou wouldst save the toiling universe, the vast suffering feel as thine. Now this is page 537. His soul must be wider than the universe and feel eternity as its very stuff, rejecting the moment's personality. Remember we read earlier, the first passage we read, that to strike out the this and that from I am this or I am that. I am this and I am that is the moment's personality. So rejecting the moment's personality, know itself older than the birth of time. Know that I am the eternal I am, aham. Not the akar the aham takes, not the ahankar of I am this or I am that. Creation an incident in its consciousness. Man must know his consciousness is so vast that creation is an incident in his consciousness. Arcturus and Belphegor, which are bright stars bigger than the sun, grains of fire circling in a corner of its boundless self. So I am so vast that stars larger than the sun are grains of fire circling in a corner of its boundless self. The world's destruction, a small, transient, temporary storm, in the calm infinity it has become. If thou wouldst a little loosen the vast chain, draw back from the world that the idea has made. See, the world that the idea has made is the mental world, the world made up of your ideas. So in this line he's saying, draw back from the world that the idea has made, thy mind's selection from the infinite. So somewhere Sri Aurobindo and Savitri writes, whatever you see with the mind is cutting out sky strips from the infinite sky and looking at each sky strip and taking it as a whole. So it's not going to tell you the truth about this. So whatever I'm seeing with my mind is my mind's selection from the infinite. Thy senses gloss on the infinitesimal's dance. Your senses create an illusion of separation. Then shalt thou know how the great bondage came. The great bondage, which is the ego, which is separation, which is the ignorance of believing my thought and letting thought control me. Banish all thought from thee and be God's void. God's void is emptiness, shunyata. empty of any concept or idea. Banish all thought from thee and be God's void. Then shalt thou uncover the unknowable, and the superconscient conscious grow on thy tops. Infinity's vision through thy gaze shall pierce. Thou shalt look into the eyes of the unknown, find the hid truth in things seen null and false. Thou shalt look into the eyes of the unknown. So unknown is emptiness, right? Unknown is the eternal mystery, the ultimate dimension. So thou shalt look into the eyes of the unknown, find the hid truth in things seen null and false. So when you really see the truth in appearances, you will see that all your judgments about it were so empty of truth, so false. You will see things as null and false. Behind things known, discover mysteries rare. Rare is the back. So behind the appearance of things which you think you know, there's the unfathomable mystery, the eternal mystery. So our minds tell us that the moment we label something, we know it. I'm seeing Adya sitting there, okay, I know it, I move on. But just by labeling Adya as Adya, do I know who she really is? Or labeling that sunflower as a sunflower, do I know what the sunflower is? I don't. But my mind tells me the moment I've labeled it, I know it. But labels don't tell me anything about it. Behind that label, it's a form, it's a manifestation of the ultimate dimension. An ultimate dimension is the eternal mystery, which I'll never grasp through any label or thought. So find the hid truth in things seen null and false. Behind things known, discover mysteries rare. Thou shalt be one with God's bare reality, and the miraculous world He has become, the ultimate dimension that God is, has become this phenomenal world of existence. And the miraculous world He has become, and the diviner miracles still to be. The diviner miracle is the supramental world which Mother and Sri Aurobindo have labored to bring down. When nature, who is now unconscious God, all nature is unconscious God, it doesn't know its divinity, translucent grows to the eternal light. So all yoga is about the transformation of unconscious God to conscious God, to consciously know that everything is God. When nature, who is now unconscious God, translucent grows to the eternal's light, her seeing His sight, her ear is nature. So nature seeing is His sight, God's sight, her walk, His steps of power. And life is filled with a spiritual joy, and matter is the Spirit's willing bride. Such a beautiful line. Just now, somewhere, many times, Sri Aurobindo draws this metaphor that matter and spirit are right now like a couple who's in a divorce state. They are not harmonized. When you're in the world of matter, spirit seems like a dream. When you're in the world of spirit, matter loses consequence. So in the supramental world, matter is spirit's willing bride. She'll give herself to the bridegroom's spirit and let the spirit mold her. Consent to be nothing and none. So give up all your ideas, your roles. So there's a beautiful koan in Zen where the master asks his disciple that there's a cart. A cart has two wheels and an axle. And the master asks, what is left when you take away the two wheels and the axle of the cart? So the answer is, it's a broken cart, obviously. But that's not the full answer. To us seeing, it's a broken cart. But in the ultimate dimension, it's still whole. everything that appears to be broken in the phenomenal dimension, in the ultimate dimension, it retains its wholeness. Yeah, Purnamada Purnamidam, that is whole, this is whole. Purnat Purna Mudachyate, out of wholeness only wholeness can be born. Purnasya Purnamadaya, you subtract wholeness from wholeness. Purnameva Vashishyate, the original wholeness can't be subtracted from. So 1 minus 1 is 1. So whatever, see, the cart and its parts represents our identities. I may be very attached to my identity of being a healthy person. So the wheels of the cart may be my health. Suppose my health is threatened. Or I may be very attached to being a good worker, a good teacher. And the way life is, all the roles that I'm attached to, all the people I'm attached to, eventually they are lent to me, they'll be taken away. And when it's taken away, I have the illusion that I'm broken. But this koan is reminding you that in the ultimate dimension, you're always whole. Your wholeness is something so solid that it can't be broken. Therefore, in the Gita, there are those immortal lines, you are that which no fire can burn, no water can wet, no wind can dry, no sword can cleave. So you are that ultimate wholeness, no matter how broken you appear to yourself. That brokenness is a concept which is shunya. And if you see it shunyata, you come to the wholeness that you are. Consent to be nothing, dissolve time's work, cast off thy mind, step back from form and name. Thought is form and name. So Sri Aurobindo is saying, step back from form and name. Annul thyself that only God may be. These are, of course, famous lines. When you annul yourself at every point that you call me, when it gets extinguished. In Buddhism, nirvana, the word nirvana means extinguished. Means that every point that I call I, me, mine, it gets extinguished. So annul thyself that only God may be. Now page 538, Savitri. All she allowed to rise that chose to stir. So now this is from a canto where Savitri has attained nirvana. So after attaining nirvana, this is what she's feeling. All she allowed to rise that chose to stir, calling, compelling not, forbidding not. That means whatever thoughts come, she's allowing it to be. She's not calling any thought towards her. She's not pushing any thought away. She's just dropping all effort. She's just being, and the thoughts are coming and going. Calling, compelling not, forbidding not. She left all to the process formed in time and the free initiative of nature's will. She left all to the process formed in time and the free initiative of nature's will. So here she's living the Zen saying, sitting still, doing nothing, the wind blows, the grass grows. So you come to realize that you don't always have to do things to get things done. If you just sit silently in your being, allowing things to happen, the grass will grow where it needs to, the wind will blow where it needs to. Sitting still, doing nothing, the wind blows, the grass grows. Thus, following the complex human play, she heard the prompter's voice. Prompter's voice is the voice of the ultimate dimension, the secret will, God, whatever you call it. She heard the prompter's voice behind the scene. Perceived the original libretto set and the organ theme of the composer force. All she beheld that surges from man's depths, the animal instincts prowling mid life's trees, the impulses that whisper to the heart. So she's just a witness to herself, and in being a witness to herself, she sees how she's being pulled into existence moment by moment, how the complex play of forces are coagulating to give her the momentary existence of herself. So she's seeing the animal instinct prowling mid life's trees, the forces, the impulses that whisper to the heart, impulses from the subconscious, and passion's thunder chase sweeping the nerves, the vital impulses going through her. She saw the powers that stare from the abyss, from the darkness, the powers of darkness that stare from the abyss, and the wordless light that liberates the soul. So beautiful. So she saw darkness and light both together. She saw the powers that stare from the abyss, and the wordless light that liberates the soul. But most, her gaze pursued the birth of thought. Now, thought was the biggest mystery to her. We take thinking so much for granted, but if we just look at how crazy our thought is, just now I'm thinking, I'm sitting here, then I'll think, oh, yesterday I ate that. When I ate that, I was sitting with somebody wearing a red t-shirt. Red is a terrible color. It's so random and crazy the way our thoughts are. But we never, and it's the biggest mystery you live with. Sometimes your thoughts are so good or so terrible that you wonder how they can be like this. But we don't wonder enough how they can be like this. So, but most her gaze pursued the birth of thought. She's in this total silence and she wants to crack the mystery of thinking. So now, page 539. In our unseen subtle body, thought is born, or there it enters from the cosmic field. Now, Sri Aurobindo had this experience, right? When Lele told him to just sit and told him that no thought is yours, it comes from outside, don't let it enter. And he just sat and he actually saw thoughts coming from outside and he didn't let it enter, and 3 days he had a completely silent mind. So in our unseen subtle body is a body surrounding us and penetrating our physical body. Thought is born, or there it enters from the cosmic field. Her body's thoughts climbed from her conscious limbs and carried their yearnings to its mystic crown, where nature's murmurs meet the ineffable. So beautiful. So these thoughts are entering from outside, and Savitri is in the state of utter silence where she is connected with the higher consciousness above. So that higher consciousness is like a pump. It's pulling up her thoughts and they are getting dissolved. So when nature's murmurs are thoughts which are entering you from outside. Meet the ineffable. Ineffable is that which can't be worded, anirvachaniya. In the Vedas it's called what can't be worded, what is shunya, what defies any concept or word. When nature's murmurs meet the ineffable. But for the mortal prisoned in outward mind, so Savitri could see this, thoughts were entering her and they were dissolving. But for the mortal, but for each of us, that's not the case. Prisoned in outward mind, all the thoughts must present their passport at its door. Disguise, they must don the official cap and mask or pass as manufacturers of the brain. So they are entering us, they must present their passport. Passport means whatever frequency I'm tuned to, if a thought of a similar frequency comes, that's its passport and it enters me. Like a radio station, It's emitting waves of many frequency, but whatever you tune your radio to, it picks up that frequency and plays the song. So it's presenting its passport and pass as manufacturers of the brain. So we are thinking that it's my mind is thinking it, but actually they are coming from the outside. If we have an affinity to their frequency, they enter us and then they play out. Unknown their secret truth. To me, their secret truth is unknown and hidden source. Only to the inner mind they speak direct. Put on a body and assume a voice. Their passage seen, their message heard and known. Their birthplace and their natal marks reveal. Natal are birthmarks. So all these are metaphors. Sri Aurobindo writes in metaphors. Birthmark is that particular affinity I have to pick up that thought. And stand confessed to an immortal sight. So to an immortal like Savitri or Sri Aurobindo, the thoughts that stand confess, they confess that we are just things which are, we are not real. We have just come in from outside, and it's a metaphor. You understand, it's not like a thought is a real thing that confesses to you, but it's a way of speaking. Their birthplace and their natal marks revealed, and stand confessed to an immortal sight, are nature's messengers to the witness soul. Now, page 541. This too she saw, that all in outer mind is made, not born, a product perishable. In the outer mind are thoughts and emotion. It's a product perishable. It comes and goes. Forged in the body's factory by earth force. Nature is forging the thoughts. So Sri Aurobindo says, you think you are this I, this ego, but everything outside you is Prakriti, nature, your thoughts, your body, your emotion, it's nature. Everything inside you is spirit. So ego is just a superimposition, in Vedanta called a nadhya rope. Like there's a rope, but my mind is superimposing a snake on it and believing in the reality of that snake. So ego is a nadhya rope. It doesn't exist. It has no ontological reality, because everything you are inside you is spirit. Everything you are on the outside is Prakriti or nature. So the mind is a dynamic small machine producing ceaselessly till it wears out, with raw material drawn from the outside world. So the raw material of thoughts is coming from outside. Using that raw material, your brain is creating thoughts. The pattern sketched by an artist god. An artist god is sketching the patterns of your thought. Often our thoughts are finished cosmic wares admitted by a silent office gate and pass through the subconscient galleries. Our subconscient has certain frequencies. So from outside it enters our subconscient, then issued in time's mart as private make. So he's saying that often our thoughts are finished cosmic wares made by the cosmos. We think we are thinking it, but the cosmos has made them, admitted by a silent gate and pass through the subconscient galleries, then issued in time's mart as private make. For now they bear a living person's stamp, a trick, a special hue claims them his own. So this is such a mysterious craft that I feel, how can it not be my thought? It's so personal to me, it's mine, it has everything. So that's what Sri Aurobindo is saying, a trick, a special hue, color, claims them his own. All else is nature's craft, and this too is hers. Our tasks are given, we are but instruments. Nothing is all our own that we create. The power that acts in us is not our force. The genius too receives from some high found concealed in spiritual secrecy. So, how many of you have seen the movie Michael? You remember there was a line where he says he's floating and he's saying, I'm just waiting for the creator to give me an idea. If I'm not available to receive it, Prince will get it. Prince was his contemporary. So, I mean, even somebody who's not read Sri Aurobindo, this is a common experience. The genius too receives from some high found, concealed in a supernal secrecy, the work that gives him an immortal name. The word, the form, the charm, the glory and grace are mission sparks from a stupendous fire, a sample from the laboratory of God, of which he holds the patent upon earth, comes to him wrapped in golden coverings. He listens for inspiration's postman knock and takes the delivery of the priceless gift, a little spoiled by the receiver mind or mixed with the manufacture of his brain. So they say a Mona Lisa already existed on another plane and the artist just received her and manifested her on earth. Or mixed with the manufacture of his brain. When least defaced, then it is most divine. Although his ego claims the world for its use, man is a dynamo for the cosmic work. Nature does most in him, God the high rest. So we can't really take credit for anything we do. We are at best instruments. Only his soul's acceptance is his own. This independent, once a supreme power, man was once a supreme power, self-born before the universe was made. Before he became man, he was the eternal I am, the being of light. Accepting cosmos binds himself nature's serf, nature's slave. So right now, this independent who was the supreme power has bound himself nature's slave till he becomes her, means nature's freed man or God's slave. So beautiful this line is. Till he becomes nature's freed man. When do you become free of nature? When you're free of the ego. When you're free of the ego, you don't have any personal will. Then you're just a channel through which the supreme will works. So Mother once said the supreme secret is to make your will one with the divine will. And that can only happen if the ego dies, right? Because if the ego is there, it will keep wanting its own will. So when the ego dies, then you're not subject to nature and its pull and pushes. So Ramana Maharishi beautifully says, the bound cannot choose because they are in bondage to their nature. So there's very little free will. Although you think you have the illusion of having free will, every thought you're thinking is a sum total of every past thought. So it's not really your choice. So the bound cannot choose and the free do not choose. The free don't choose because they don't have an individual will to choose. They just channel the supreme will. So when you have that freedom, you're free of nature, but you're a slave of God because you're bound to do only what the supreme will makes you do. So with that, we'll stop and we'll just sit quiet. Even now, see if there are thoughts crowding in. Some thoughts coloring you with a sense of joy, some thoughts coloring you with a sense of unhappiness. But more and more remind yourself, the thoughts are mithya. They appear to be real, but they are not. They are not telling me the truth about anything. Beyond the good and bad of thoughts, there is the field of eternal good Bhadram. Rumi's words, beyond good and bad, there is a field, I will meet you there. The field of Bhadram, where we meet all enlightened minds. So, just as a practice, what we did earlier in the meditation, whenever an unhappy narrative comes up, go to your heart, connect with the Mother's presence there, and inhale with the word Bhadram. Whatever my mind tells me it's not true, the truth is, every seeming bad is working out a secret good in the field of eternal good. And exhale with shunya, emptiness of my thought. Thoughts are trying to figure out a mystery which they cannot. So every thought is empty of a whole truth. So inhaling with Bhadram in the heart and exhaling with shunya till that narrative dissolves. And to meet the moment with stillness rather than interpreting thought is the best gift you can give yourself unto the life in the moment. And with that, fold your hands together in a namaste. Let's conclude with 3 Oms.